multiples. And what he did, Mary, this is critical. He put them together. And that's what he created this company. Most companies out there, they have buy, term, invest, or rest, but they have not put any distribution vehicle together with it. So you take a look at Primerica. Primerica is just a company name of someone that has chosen to use the power of the multiples to distribute their financial products. That's what we've got to decide to do, Carolyn. We've got to decide, now this is critical to getting in the mind of Art Williams. 125 million families had whole life insurance policies. What system would you employ to get all 125 million and destroy the cash value insurance industry? He employed compounding people, power the multiples. Buy term invested difference was just a great term, but you could not help all 120 million families because you're right. You can't do it one at a time. So he employed a tool called the power of compounding people, the power of the multiples, put the two together. That's what did Citigroup pay him $1 billion to get? They paid him $1 billion to get what? The marketing and distribution system, not the buy, term, and invest the rest. So, example, Walmart is just a distribution system. You don't get nuts over the products at Walmart. Amazon is a distribution system. They make nothing. Again, if you take a look at our system, buy, term, and invested difference is one of the products. Mutual funds are one of the products. One of my friends from that moved to Colorado called Auto and Home, saved $3,000 a year on auto and home. Well, that's just another product. Citigroup bought the distribution system. Once you understand, Mary, you're not in the buy, term, invest, or rest difference. You're not in the mutual fund business. You're in the distribution of financial products business. Remember Art Williams said, if they shut us down, what are we going to do? Get a hotel room, draw the circles, and then find another worthy product to put in the system. Once we realize we're distributors, that's what I am. I create and build distribution systems for which any product that flows through it creates income for us. We've got to stop thinking we're in financial services. I like what Giovanna said a while back, kind of put it into perspective. We're 10% financial services and 90% distribution. So if you ask Carolyn, what do you do on a daily basis? I create distribution systems through people. I'm in financial services. Again, so the main method that we have to teach people, and we don't care whether or not they get into it with us, is 1% off 100. That's what they need in their life. Again, people don't want a mutual fund. They want the compounding of money that they can only find at high levels, percentages in a mutual fund. We assume people want to be in Primerica and sell products. They don't, because the evidence there, how many people join and how many people get licensed. But everybody wants to have a distribution system where they're earning money 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, like a vending machine. Again, I make money. I get up every morning and I get how much money came in yesterday into my distribution system. Now, in 1981 or 2, a new invention came out called money market funds. For the first time, people could put money into a money market fund and not into a CD, but they get CD rates and not have to tie it up. That was a new innovation. What else in the 1920s, mutual funds became a new innovation. I promise you down the road, we're going to be making piles of money off a product that has not been invented yet. And who's going to be making the most money? The people with the biggest distribution system. I'm the Amazon of financial products. You heard Omar a week ago say he makes $50,000 a year on prepaid legal. Think about that for a second. So you ask, what kind of business is Omar in? Well, in distribution, creation of distribution systems, and through which financial products flow. You know, at Walmart, it's hard products. They don't sell anything intangible. They're material products. You can taste it, you can wear it, you can fix something with it. We don't have any of that. Our distribution system are promises. It's all life insurance. It's a promise. Mutual funds, it's a promise. So in my mind, we've got to get our heads structured correctly. What are we offering people? They've got to get out of 100% off one. That's our initial intent when we sit down with people, that they get their 100% income off of one. How's that working for you? The culprit are not jobs. The culprit is not corporate America. The very nature of a job is 100%. One can only do so many things because you have so many hours in a day. They can only pay you so much. What they need in their life is a 1% off 100 life. We've heard this over and over, but there's got to be some degree of conviction, Mary, that if they've got 100% off one life, they're in trouble. We know how that's going to end. What did Warren Buffett say? Unless you have money coming in while you sleep, you're going to have to work until the day you die. 100% off one, that's the problem. 1% off 100, you have money coming in while you sleep. What did Sam Walton say? You must learn to multiply yourself so you can be more than one place at a time. 100% off one, you can only be one place at a time. 1% off 100, you're more than one place at a time. What did T.D. Jakes say? You must create multiple streams of income. 1% off one stream of income. 1% off 100, hundreds of streams of income. Once we realize that what business we're in is changing people from a obsolete, old method, horse and buggy way of making money to a jet making money, multiple streams of income. To me, it's got to be very clear in our heads. And Primerica, that's why Art Williams said when he was starting the company, he had a secretary named Kathy Herring. And I mean, when you walked into the office, Virginia Carter's secretary is on the left, Bobby Buisson's was on the right, his secretaries. And Virginia's base shop, where I was on the left, you know, big office, some big bullpen, and then some offices, and Bobby on the right, identical. But straight ahead was Kathy Herring's office, a desk right out in the open. Right behind it was Art's office. So when people came to see Art, they came into Virginia Carter and Bobby Buisson's base shop. And Art said, I want one sheet of paper on my desk when I walk in every morning. What was that? How many new people joined? How many new distributors joined? We don't get recruits, we get what? Distributors. So our goal is to create either people who are a one-time distributor or build massive Amazon-type distribution systems. So what are you getting out of this, Nick, from what I've just said? And what should our intent be?
Well, identity. What's your identity? And ultimately, what do we cling to? And you know, we had a kind of an emergency Zoom last night. We was talking about what our identity is as a team. And if you did a presentation last night, what was the majority, or this past week, what majority of the time were you talking about? And that's ultimately your true love. And you're a broken record on multiplying, building distribution. And that's how you roll. That's your identity. And so what I take away from what you're saying is don't have an identity crisis, but at the same time, be true to yourself. You're a multiplier, coach. There are some people that don't want to multiply. And you show us the benefits of why they should be in the multiplication business. As you told someone, why do you, as a securities expert, why do you protect your clients' money and shield them, but you haven't decided to build a business to shield yourself? And when you look at it from that way, you go, wow, do you care about your clients more than, but anyway, so I just take away from this, be true to the system. And what is your love business wise?
Again, great points, Nick. We have to get to it, Mary, that we are crusaders at heart. We've got to find rights, something that we can correct, and wrongs that we can correct. We have to take a look at jobs like a whole life insurance policy and understand people cannot live the life they truly want if they have a job. Not because jobs are bad, not because careers are bad. No, it's because it's 100% off one. And Bob Gebhardt, you realize that in the mutual fund business, what do we tell people? Don't put all your eggs in one basket. We tell them that. Don't put all your eggs in one basket, because diversification, it minimizes risk. What is 100% off one? All your eggs in one basket. That's why mutual fund people should be the biggest, most successful recruiters and builders. The same basic principles, Carolyn, that go into why you should own a mutual fund. Diversify your income, professional management. Again, what does that mean? I bring people in and Primerica license them. Primerica brings me the products. My job is to get the people and put them in. Same thing, mutual fund. My job is to get people to put money in the fund and let the managers handle all the fun. My job is to get money into the fund for people. Same thing. Our job is to get people into Primerica. Now, Primerica meaning the multiplication side. You've got to make up your mind. If a person does not have 1% off 100, diverse income, multiple streams of income, have making money while they sleep, we offer them a better life. We fix a problem. 100% off one is a problem that needs to be fixed. Limited, Art Williams tells us how many times, Carolyn? What we offer is an unlimited income and a secure income. That means what? A whole life job. Hope you get the analogy. It's limited and insecure. You can't have unlimited time. You can't have unlimited money there. But the 1% off 100, unlimited income, secure income. My income is unlimited. My income is secure. I have more time and I have more money. Now, why wouldn't you want that for other people? So when you go into a home, if you go to page 9 of the locker room notes, Art Williams is very specific. In the locker room notes, page 9, I sit down with Carolyn and I'm showing Carolyn the business. And what am I showing Carolyn? Not just the products and services that she can offer, but talking to Michelle, her best friend, a 1% off 100 life. And she takes me to her best friend, Michelle. Michelle takes me to her best friend, Andre. Andre takes me to her best friend, Nick. That's 4 deep. I mean, page 9, it says the purpose of an appointment is to what? Rescue and recruit the person. Because we believe in 1% off 100. We've got to be totally, understanding what our business is. Because there's zillions of people out there. You take a look at the financial services industry and the thing called financial advisors, when they're trained, understand all these people are Series 6, 63, and they have their life insurance, they have all their licenses, they last less than 5 years. The turnover is 90% every 5 years. Why? Because no one Why? Because it's limited, it's insecure, and they don't know how to prospect. Art Williams solved the prospecting problem of clients with what? By recruiting somebody. Someone says, well, you just want to sell my friends, neighbors, and relatives. Yeah, that's our method. Why is that bad? When you're a church, what do you want to do? Convert your friends, neighbors, and relatives. If you hear about a great product that's life transforming, you want to talk to your friends, neighbors, and relatives about it. I don't know why we're so afraid to hear the condemnation of people who don't understand anything. You're just in it for the money. Well, that's why you have a job. You're just in it for the money. Well, you just want to talk to your friends, neighbors, and relatives. Sell all your friends, neighbors, relatives. That's right. You recruit me just so I can sell my friends, neighbors, and relatives. Yes, because that's the best kind. We are so blessed. And Ron, your life can be changed with the changing of your mind. And we got to change our minds. We are so bent towards 100% off one, we don't get 1% off 100. We've been trained and indoctrinated, worker bees, work hard, have a career, have a job, get more degrees, have more expertise. But where is the evidence that it leads us to unlimited income, secure income? Why do we want the 1% off 100? To have an unlimited income. When I was at the steel company, I was frosted every day saying, I want to make more money. If I'm going to work, I want to make all the money I can. But I was locked into 3% pay raises. I could not make more money. I could not work more hours. And it wasn't secure. As we found out, the steel industry went under. And I wanted more time with my family. And you can't have more time with your family. I got to put my 40, 50 hours in. Most people maybe put 40 hours in, but there's also an extra 10 hours a week of travel, plus an hour for lunch. So that's really about 60 hours a week they're gone from their families. Here, you can put 20 hours a week in here if you wanted to, and have all that time with your family and more money, time and money, unlimited income, secure income, more time, more money. This is the only category in life where you can find that, Mary. Where else can you go to get it? I mean, if Saturdays and Sundays, people get a little taste of freedom that I live every day. Every day is Saturday to me. Every week is a weekend to me. And that's what we want for other people. So Bob Gerhardt, you gotta check what you're really offering people. Forget Primerica. Forget the name Primerica. Forget the financial services industry to get licensed. You and I both know people in your city, they're in financial services. I don't want that. I don't want a job. I don't want a profession. I don't want 300 clients. That's not what I want, because why? Eventually, your clients become your bosses. They own you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I've got a problem. I want to change my beneficiary. I want to do this. I want to take money out. I want to do, and you're working for your clients at no pay. Oh, you're getting a residual, but your income cannot go up because you run out of time. If we could ever, Polly, hook into what we have a hold of here and give it the proper respect, Keith, and understanding, and Dan, that everything we have, people want. 47 million Americans last March, a year ago March, quit their jobs looking for what we're offering. They wanted more freedom. They wanted more money. They didn't want to be locked into a job and have to go into an office and have a boss. So they abruptly quit. Within 6 months, they were all back because they couldn't find what they were looking for. What we're looking for, Bob, was us. Again, not Primerica. You're not you don't work, your job is not to offer Primerica to people. Primerica is just the name that our system is called to provide a 1% off 100 life for people. Just like mutual funds are just the name for people that get compounding. Again, remember this, nobody wants a mutual fund. They want the compounding that's inside that fund. Where else can you get 10, 12%? You can't. So you got to get a mutual fund. Even real estate can't do that for you. Same thing here. I don't want to be in Primerica. Why am I in Primerica? Because Primerica wisely offered me the 1% of 100 life, where I can have hundreds and thousands of people that I receive a override from on a daily basis. So I'm not here trying to encourage people to get into Primerica. Get into a 1% of 100 life, and we can get you those 100 people in 6 months. What else are we going to offer people? You can come here and make a lot of money selling insurance. The math is very few people do it. Here's the math. Less than 15% of people get coded. And less than 50% of those people, 6-7%, ever make a sale outside of training. And then within 3 to 4 years, they let their licenses lapse. Why? For the same reason financial advisors' licenses lapse. Nobody wants to sell. Art Williams told us that in the E.L. Williams way. Rob, what am I saying here? I'm trying to convert people to understand the power of geometric progression. When you can take a little bit and multiply it. Folks, I recruited in my first 5-6 years less than 50 people. And it turned into thousands for me. Think about that. It's like investing money in a mutual fund and turns into millions. Why don't we get it? Rod, talk about that for a second. What are you getting out of this? Because you heard me go over it last night and just convicted me even more.
Well, Coach, first of all, I want to thank you for the gem you laid down last night. That was just phenomenal. I mean, I don't know how you do it, and I'm starting to understand why you do it more and more. But I just want to just compliment you and just salute you on, your endurance and your tenacity, and your ability to just keep getting better. I mean, it's like, I've been listening to you for years, and it seems like, every time you bring something fresh and take us deeper and give us a better insight. And it just, it's just amazing to me. And you just really did a fantastic job.
Well, let me stop you for a second. I believe.
Yes.
I believe there's a hellhole called 100% off one. I believe that. And I don't want anyone in that hellhole that I care about. Everyone's got to get out, and they're in that hellhole because no one ever taught them about the 1% off 100.
Yeah.
All we know is 100% off one. Why are churches, very few people, the new religion is none. Because churches don't know how to multiply anymore. They know how to preach the gospel, and they assume no one's actively going out and recruiting people into churches. Because why? There's no growth plan. So once you believe in the 1% off 100, you can't go back. Talk about that for a second, Rod.
Well, I think Bill, I guess what sticks out to me is, is what you mentioned, James 1:27, the purpose is, our purpose ultimately is to visit or serve the orphans and widows in the time of their distress. And see, once we, understand that's the ultimate mission, then the Primerica system or the 1% over the 100, all of that feeds into accomplishing that goal in a significant way. Because when we see the 1% coming from 100 different people, if you look at what's behind that, are thousands of families being served, are thousands of families being rescued. And not only are those families being rescued, those who are doing the rescuing get a chance to live the life that you live every day. We have that opportunity. And so when we put it, when we line it up, and we haven't, we pay attention to what the ultimate goals are, and what we're trying to accomplish, then, we have, the blueprint. I mean, we have the game plan. I mean, we have the roadmap. And then, once you back that with purpose, and understanding and clarity, then, it positions us to really release the power of the 1%, coming from 100 different people. A lot of people get turned off of that. Say, man, that seems like, pyramidish, and it seems like a big, scheme. But really, when you look behind it, just think about all the families that's being served and all the people that's being able to have a shot at financial freedom. And like, as you said earlier, that obsolete system of having 100% of your income coming from one person, that doesn't work. That doesn't work. And here we get an opportunity to grow and to learn. And I just love the analogy that you made yesterday when you said, the Wright brothers didn't invent flying. They saw the drifter, and then they found the propeller, and they married the two, and wow, out came the airplane. And so, and if you look at, well, what was the purpose of that? Well, they wanted to be able to travel a lot faster, more efficiently, and to reach further destinations. Well, Art Williams wasn't the founder of compounding nor term insurance, but he took the compounding concepts and he married it with insurance and investments. He put those two together, and the purpose was to rescue families, was to create more financially independent families than any other company in this country. And so, and that's what we experience, and that's what we have witnessed, and that's what we're a part of. And so, that 1% of the one, that 1% from 100 different people is just a concept that will allow us to, that marries that together, and and the benefit for us is the 1% over 100 people, but the benefit for the clients and the people we serve, and our business partners, is that they get a chance to experience financial freedom in a way that no one else is delivering it. We're like their only shot. We are the only shot. So I was just so, again, Coach, I was just so full last night of, based on what you shared. And I, applaud you and Carol for coming out and sharing. Just really big kudos to you.
Wonderfully said, Rod. It took me an hour to get to Duncanville last night from Fort Worth, and took me 30 minutes to get home. Traffic was bumper to bumper, and there's 30,000 cars a year moving into Dallas, Fort Worth. All these people from all these states that are tired of paying taxes in other states and tired of the politics, they're moving here. And what plan do you think I have? We got 120,000 new people coming in a year in Dallas, Fort Worth. We're at 7 million now. And the plan is geometric progression of people. We need thousands upon thousands of people out there in the marketplace talking to their friends, neighbors, and relatives. And how do we do that? Art said there's two things that blew his butt out of the water. Most of us have one of those things that blow us out of the water. Power of the compounding interest, rule of 72. But he said, and the second thing that blew me out was the power of the multiples. And even the other day when we were in Unicoi, he said, 3 who get 3, who get 3, who get 3, who get 3. That's what people need to know is out there and available. And you mentioned pyramid and multi. Only jaundiced people that have given up and are hopeless say that. How can you look at something that's been so great? And I'll use the example. Several years ago, they had something called the Ice Bucket Challenge. And the ALS and one of our guys, Jerry Ward, contacted ALS. He's struggling with that. And so I'm very familiar with it. And they would raise maybe $25 million a year. And a woman whose son had it, you know what she said? If I had enough money for research, we could knock out ALS and my son could be saved. And one of his friends say, well, let's think about a fundraising campaign. And I got a stupid idea, but let's try it. The Ice Bucket Challenge. I'll dump ice on my head, but then I offer 3 people to do the same thing. And their job is to get 3 people. And who get 3 people? That's what they said. And we go, brilliant. Whoa, unbelievable. And they raised $125 million in 7 months. And that money in research brought people closer to a cure by 5 years. And now how can we condemn what we do and applaud that? How dare anybody say, yeah, but it's a pyramid scheme they're using to get money? What is Christianity, hopefully? People, again, I hate labels. When people start using labels, that's when you know they don't know what they're talking about and they don't know how to defend themselves. So they complain, they say, oh, that's a pyramid. Or that's why you're never gonna hear me say that guy's stupid, a moron, jerk, idiot. Those are labels. Racism, that's a label. How do you shut somebody out? You're a racist. How do you argue with that? You know, you don't like women. How do you argue with that? No, I'm not. Yes, you are. See, so they don't have to think. Understand, Art Williams created a system that eliminated whole life insurance from the face of the earth. Very, very few of it's being sold. How? Because we were right? No. We had the power and of the multiples that Art Williams used. Buy term invested difference combined with the power of the multiples caused this thing to grow. And Citigroup paid him $1 billion for the distribution system. We're a distribution. Again, I love what Giovanna said, 10% financial services, but 90% distribution. I'm in a distribution business, mass distribution business to rescue millions upon millions upon millions of families. Folks, the question you got to ask yourself, Bob Gerhardt, how many do you want to help? I want to help people. How many? A lot. No, how many? I've got a goal of 1 million, 1 million, what I call future death claims in the next 30 years. Million. 30 years, that's $30,000, $30,000 a year. Future death claim means what? Life insurance policy. Taking care of the orphans and the widows. Now, how do I get 1 million families protected so widows will receive a check? I got to have thousands of RVPs. 10,000 RVPs will do it. Now, how do I get 10,000 RVPs? I'm going to get 40 who are going to get 3 each. You're going to get 3 each. You're going to get 3 each. Here's the pen. Show me another way. There is no other way. We have to understand, ultimately, we pay 2 death claims a day, Mary. If you paid a death claim, kind of wave at me, right? You know why you paid a death claim? Because somebody recruited you. And it wasn't Art. Art didn't recruit you direct. Somebody recruited you, who recruited you, blah, 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 blah. And we have thousands of people, and about 90% of our death claims come from people who make less than 2 sales in their primary career. Is that bad? You ask the widow, do you think they care? Well, do you only understand the guy who sold you that policy and that $500,000 you're getting? It's not very good. Why? Because he only made 2 sales and then he quit. Who cares? All of us were Christian people. If a guy came in and he joined your church and watched the movie Jesus Revolution, that Lonnie Frisbee came in and he ignited a fire, and tens of thousands and millions of people became Christians. Years later, he died of AIDS. But I mean, that was false? No, I mean, he got lost, but that doesn't mean the value that he brought while he was here should be looked at negatively. We are so much more powerful, Nick, than we're allowing ourselves to be. We can conquer the world. We each of us should have 1 million people as a goal, 1 million clients. Each of us should have 10,000 RVPs. You know, Keenan wants to make $4 million a month. Congratulations. Well, no one needs to make, see how we start labeling people. No one needs to make $4 million a month. How many houses can you buy? You see, Listen, the value is given, the money will be there. You know, I've got a list of all the wealthy people and how much money they donate to other people. You would be shocked. Art Williams, I talked to him 2 days ago. He said it is amazingly wonderful how many organizations are better because we're helping them financially. So remember, we're underappreciating compounding people. If you're embarrassed about compounding people, it's because you don't get it and you don't need it. I need it in my life because I want more time. I want more money. I want an unlimited income. I want a secure income. And I want everybody to have that kind of a life. Nothing is worse, Carolyn, than have people say, it takes me an hour and a half to get home from work. I hate my job, hate my boss. Folks, 380 people a day are dying from stress from a job. What are you going to do about it? Your friends, they got the smile on their face. 70% of all Americans hate going to work Monday morning. 70%. That's the hellhole. Look up the term hellhole in the dictionary. We have the power. And Nick, I'll give it to you in about 2 minutes because you gave me the first 30 minutes, you said. I don't know what your plans were. We are more powerful than we can possibly imagine. I can change anybody's life if they give me 3 to 5 names. Anybody's life. I'll change it. I'll take those 3 to 5 and I'll get 2 or 3 people and I'll get 6 to 10 names from each, 3 from them. I'll get 10 to 15 names and I'll make that into 30 names and 80 names, 100 names. And in that is going to be a Bill Orender and a Rod Logan and a Mary Watkins and all these stuff, right? We've got to see ourselves. Art Williams said it. You must see yourself involved, Polly, in something bigger than just your business. We're here to change the world. You, each one of you have the power, Dan Gunas, to change the world. And you've got the distribution system to do it. See, you've got the tool. How big are your dreams? How big is your assignment? You know, I do this in my biblical encouragement call. Look at it this way. God gave us a vineyard with no plants. Thank you, God. I want you in charge of this vineyard. Well, great. Where is it? Over there. That's a plot of land. Yeah, you're right. You got to go get it's a vineyard. A vineyard isn't one plant. Your job's to what? Go get one, plant it, and then what? Multiply it. Thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of acres, because everything in God's economy is growth. You're supposed to be more than one. You know, Mike Tuttle used the example of Billy Graham. Billy Graham was a world-class converter of people to Christianity. He's renowned. But when he died, it came to a screeching halt. There was another guy head of Campus Crusade for Christ, Bill Bright. Couldn't speak, wasn't good. No one knows his name. Nobody knows his name. They both died about the same time. If you look at Bill Bright and his Campus Crusade for Christ have brought more people to Christ than Billy Graham ever thought about. And they're both dead, but Campus Crusade for Christ is continuing to have millions and millions of people a year become Christians because he built a distribution system to spread the gospel. Churches are warehouses anymore. They're not distribution systems. Churches are not there to grow. They're there to take care of the flock and feed them. Yeah, but what happens is they're not multiplying. That's why 100 churches a week in the United States are going out of business. A week. The number one religion in America today is none, N-O-N-E. Because why? We fail to realize it's mass distribution. I was reading in Acts the other day, how in one day, 3,000 people came in one day. Next day, 5,000 in one day. They're there to multiply. Their job was not to take the 12 or 11 and just get them to be theologians. Again, the owner, a mechanic never becomes the owner of a car dealership. He knows more about cars than the owner ever thought about. If I want to know how to fix a car, I'm not calling the owner. The owner knows how to build distribution. The mechanic knows how to fix individual problems. I have chosen to be an owner, not a mechanic. I've chosen to be a missionary and not a theologian. What's your choice? And Nick, I'll give it to you.
Wow, Coach. Well, get you some water, some coffee, because we're going to stay in that vein. There's a lot of people on here that we need to hear this message, Coach, because it's not being taught in 99% of the locations. And so for the 43 of us that are in the Zoom room right now, we have to oversteer with this information because it's becoming extinct. And if we're not careful, as what was said in Unicoi, the company can go this way, right? And so thank you for that. So we're going to come right back to you, Coach, in about 5 minutes to expand on that. So I'm going to stay right in that line, y'all. So y'all look at this right quick. When you see these people like this, y'all tell me what you see. All right. So let me pull this up. It's all about perspective. What do y'all see when you see this right quick? You see a family like this in the store or in a grocery store, whatever it may be. What is your perspective? And for some people, automatically assume they need a policy, right? Some people say they need an IRA. Some people might say they need spare money, extra income. And then if you're like Bill, they need overrides. And so where do you see yourself in that equation? And I think that's the problem, Coach, like Coach identified. We're having an identity crisis. We're in a distribution business. And I don't know, Coach, if you agree with this statement, but if somebody really wanted to get into traditional sales, they will probably make more money if they wanted to go that route at Farmers or Merrill Lynch. Primerica pays on overrides, right? And so, and then let me show y'all this. So ultimately, if we're talking with Coach, or this is what he sees, what do y'all see? Once again, if this was you and you're looking out into a sea of people, what do you see? And what are you looking for? What are we looking for? The eagle, which is the RVP or the client. And Bill, if he's looking out, guess what he sees? This is the only thing he sees. And really, we can probably replace that, Coach, with SNSD, right? Because that's the RVP factory. Y'all missed it. Okay. So nevertheless, all right. So, and then while Coach is getting ready to in the batter's cage, let me pull this up. This is really good, Coach. Look at this, y'all. He just said it. I couldn't have been we couldn't have been more in sync. But y'all find a car dealership in your area, and as you're talking to somebody, you ask them that question, like Coach just said, do you want me to teach you how to be a mechanic, or do you want me to teach you how to be an owner? When you see Clay Cooley, his hands aren't greasy. In fact, now he has his son doing commercials, and his son and the grandbaby. I promise you, Clay Cooley is not talking to his son and his grandkids about being a mechanic. They're saying, how are we going to open up more of these dealerships? Right? That's the conversation that they're having. And so let me pass that. Andrea Birch showed this at the Get Big or Go Home. It's 50 first generation RVPs who get 3 through 6 generations. That's 12,000 RVPs at the 6th generation. It's a total of 18,000 RVPs. That's what she says she wants to do. It says at the bottom of that statue there, I go back, coach. It says at the bottom of that statue, or this picture, I should say, it says, make no small plans, for they have no power to stir the soul of men. What did coach just tell us? We're involved in something bigger than just our business. See, our business, coach can say, I'm good, I'm full. But he also just mentioned, R. Williams just said, isn't it a thrill that we can give away all this money and help all these organizations? Y'all listen to this right quick. Let me stop this so I can share the sound. Listen to what Abigail Disney shares in this particular audio right quick, okay? So hopefully y'all could hear it. Make sure. Look at what she says. Coach, that diagram you showed is exactly what you showed. When your effort in the beginning is high, the income is lower. Then over time, the income grows and the effort goes down. And there's like Larry Waddell was saying in one of the little training sessions, there's enough stuff on YouTube to become wealthy, but most people want to be entertained. And we end up missing those gems just like that right there when you hear somebody talk about building a legacy. And then let me show this next part, coach. Then we're going to come back to you here in a little bit. So coach is just literally just saying this right quick, but y'all think about this. Can y'all relate to this? How many of us like tortilla chips, right? Will you just eat them by itself? Or are they really just the source that we really want, which is the guacamole, right? How many of us, well, I shouldn't say us, right? How many people like cigarettes? They really don't want the cigarette. They want the nicotine inside the cigarette, right? Most of us don't like the French fries, but we do like the salt. We want the salt that the French fry has. So what is Coach reminding us this morning is that it's not Primerica. It's the system behind Primerica that is what makes this thing go. And it's the system that Art Williams over and over again sold and embedded in Coach's brain, all the big hitters, the people that we admire. It was the multiples. It was the chance to go from 1 to 49 or to 7 to 49 and all that good stuff. Look at this. So let me make sure that's up again. So y'all can hear what R. Williams said himself.
10 RVPs. So you don't have to build 50. You don't have to build 100, you know. You just have to build 7 to 10, then help your RVP build 7, and help your RVPs build 7, and through 3 generations, that's 399 RVPs. And if though each RVP does $10,000 in premium, then that would create for you an income of $323,000 a month, or $3.8 million a year. And then at the end of the day, when you pass away, you built a legacy business that you would leave to your family. What a legacy that is. Now let me give you some real facts again. That's just numbers on a page. But Bob Safford built 642 RVPs, 97 SVPs, 64 NSDs, 14 SNSDs, a total of 817 RVPs. Now this is an RVP factory. You know, we're in the business of producing RVPs. Now the key to getting this ball rolling and creating this momentum is field training.
So looking at that, y'all, let me pull this last part up. Looking at that last part, y'all, what did he say at the end there? There's only 2 positions that the company offers. And one of them obviously is RVP, and the other one was RVP and training. That was it. It wasn't the financial advisor and then art, right? Like coach is saying, they come in, they do what they want to do, and they leave the industry because they're not prospecting, they're not doing all those things. And just like coach is saying about churches, how many of y'all have seen churches starting to die away because they're not recruiting, for lack of a better word, but ultimately at the end of the day, that's what it is. And pretty soon, another 4, 5, 10 years, some of those churches they're gonna be gone. And it's because they're not recruiting from a standpoint. So anyway, coach, I appreciate you staying and reminding us of these things. So I'm going to turn it back over to you to maybe give us a second dose of this multiples mindset that we need to have.
Again, thank you, Nick. Remember that Art created this to create financially independent families. And again, if you take a look at the obsolete system of a job, that's what they're talking about in the first video, obsolete. It's going to take you 40 years, 45, 50 years. Maybe you'll be financially independent. But the thing that haunts me is Art Williams, I don't want anybody's thumb on me. All of us have decided it. Yes, I don't want anybody's thumb on me. But we need Bob Gerhardt to go to the next level. Is there anybody's thumb on your children? Do you want anybody's thumb on your grandchildren? Folks, for generations, if you have a job, even if you're financially independent, your children are not, because you're going to probably spend all your money in your retirement. And maybe you have some left over. Very few people are going to inherit money. So your mindset's got to be, how do you become financially independent? Art said it. 7 who get 7 who get 7. The multiples. See, Art, if you read the book, The Phenomenon, Art was asked by the president of ITT to go and investigate how these companies were growing exponentially. Because the financial services industry recruits 3 people and 5 quit. They recruit 5 people and 6 quit. It's a revolving door. And how can you multiply and grow exponentially so that you're in all 50 states, all throughout Canada? And Art learned the power of compounding people. And he made up his mind, how do I get 120 million families become our client? Wipe out whole life insurance, bring value to 120 million families. Power the multiples, compounding people. Once we realize we're compounders, give yourself an identity. I'm a compounder. I compound people's money and I compound people's income through what? The multiplication process. Why would Einstein call this the 9th wonder of the world and we don't use it? You know, we all see the rule of 72, but we see it as a interesting thing with money. But Art saw it as an interesting thing with compounding people. And when you take a look at the penny a day, 1 penny a day, and within 31 days, yields $10 million. And we're astonished by that, and wow, and gee whiz. But when it comes to people, for some reason, we're afraid. We get something called an ick factor. Ick. We're repulsed by it. See, that's an inner thought going on in your head that you did not put in there. Someone put it in there for you to keep you controlled, weak, and always be a laborer. You've got to see yourself involved in multiplying people. That's why I'm a fanatic, Nick. If I sit down with Mary, I got to get 3 to 5 names at the interview. Instead of, I got to present all this and I'll call you back tomorrow and we'll fill out your IBA and get you going. And then you go to class this weekend. That's not multiplying, Mary. That's giving her a job. She's still 100% off one. You can be all the fully licensed. I've got guys that have all the licenses. They don't make any money. Why? Because they don't have anybody to talk to. Art said you recruit somebody to what? Talk to their friends, neighbors, and relatives. You recruit that person to talk to their friends, neighbors. We solved the prospecting problem, which no one likes to do. But when we understand that we've been given a blessing, we've been given a gift. You know, if I was talking to a bunch of farmers, Bob Gebhardt, they would be saying, get on with, what's the point? What are you talking? I get this. I'm a farmer. I'm not supposed to get one stalk of corn and try to live off that. My job is to what? Multiply the corn so that I can have a harvest one day. If I'm talking to a bunch of beekeepers, Bill, what's your point? I don't get it. The whole point is to what? Get a hive and multiply the hive and get what? Thousands of hives so I can get all this honey out of it. But it's only the rank and file, brainwashed, conditioned people. You're a worker bee. That's all you're supposed to be. Till I was about 15, 16 years old, I was brainwashed to be a factory worker. My entire family were laborers. My mom was a factory worker. My dad, my uncle was a factory worker. I had another uncle that was a truck driver. But everybody in my family, not one person owned their own business. But and then I went to work in that factory when I flunked out of college. I thought, I don't want to do this for the rest of my life. And then when I met Art, he offered me multiplication. I said, now I get it. 100%, 1% off 100. And so I used the example last night that Daryl, that Henry Ford was a laborer working in a mechanic position, building cars by hand before, and they thought there's got to be a better way. He did not invent the assembly line. He discovered the assembly line, and it made sense to him. I could be a laborer. You saw all the hands and how greasy they were, right? That's a financial advisor. Now, it's enjoyable for a while. But after a while, you do a $150,000, $200,000 trade, it's great. But then after that, what do? I got to go find another one. I got to work another day. So he invented he used the assembly line. Cars, right? Cars, assembly line, put the two together. See the difference? See, most of us, Mary, have not put the two together. We got the product, we got buy-term invest, the rest we got mutual funds, but we have not figured out. Boy, if I get compounding with this, I can get 10,000 families, Bob, in Minneapolis, St. Paul. James 1:27, a true and genuine religion, take care of the widows and the orphans. The question is, how many do you want? How many does God want you to have in Minneapolis, St. Paul? Does he want you to only be in Minneapolis, St. Paul? Does he want you to get a client one-on-one? I remember when I left Atlanta, Art didn't sit down with me, but he basically, through his training, kind of gave me marching orders. He never sat down with me and said, here's what you're going to do, Bill. No. I mean, I don't remember sitting down with him at all to discuss what I'm going to do when I went to Dallas. I just remember he came to my office, said, you got to leave. And you know, it's March of 1978, said, you know, you're going to be promoted to RVP one of these days, but you got to start figuring out where you're going to go because you can't stay here. And it was March of 1978. He had just left the insurance department and was threatened to be put out of business by Johnny Caldwell. It's in the book. Well, when I came, why did I pick Dallas? I picked Dallas not for the oceans or the mountains or the nice weather. No snow, but it's hot. It was in central United States where I thought, you know, I can build offices all across the United States and only be 2.5 hours from any place. Because that's why it's central, right? You can go any place. And all I heard in my mind was, here's a map of the United States. Go sick them. We're supposed to have offices all over the place. And I did. I back in those days, you had to fly and open up an office and help pay for the expenses and all that. Now you do it on Zoom, which I don't recommend you do real quick because people still need personal touch. Remember, when I built it, I was there physically. When I opened up Detroit, I was there physically. When I opened up Chicago, I was there physically. San Antonio, Houston, I was there physically. And don't try to build a nationwide marketing organization on Zoom. It's a wasting of time. If your people can't drive to a meeting once a month, you probably shouldn't be recruiting them. Or help them get networked to someplace else, because they're probably not going to make it because the relationships are necessary. But Carolyn, you're here today because somebody was forced to go to, his name was Art Burgess. And Art Burgess went to New Orleans, and then Ron Wright went to New Orleans, forced out of Atlanta. That's why you're here today. Those two guys, Art Burgess was in my base shop. I recruited Art personally. The point is that you've got to see yourself bigger. Get a map of the United States, Bob, and say, is this what you want me to do, God? Ask God. Ask him. Because one of the things I've learned as a Christian, constant conversation with God. What do you want me to do today, God? Or where do you want me to go, God? Or what do you want me to do with this person, God? And God will guide you. Mary asked, God, what do you want me to do? How big do you want me to be? He's not going to say, Mary, just help one family a week, that's fine. He's not going to say that. If you take a look at what Jesus was, what was he? He was a creator of a distribution system. He was going about the territory doing what? Recruiting new people. If you saw the movie The Chosen, there's this one scene, I talked about this, where they keep saying, why are we going here? He said, I've got to talk to somebody. But that's 2 days away. I got to talk to somebody. I got to meet somebody. And halfway through it, they're wondering, why? One person? Why is he going to another part of the area, 2-day walk, just to talk to one person? It was the woman at the well. Oh, he went there to save her life. No. He went there, saved her life, and what did she do? She was the one recruit away from an explosion. Got the point? She went into town, started telling everybody, and a day or two later, Jesus had what? A lot of people. He did an opportunity meeting for thousands of people because of what she started. But we don't see that. We see ourselves as, one-on-one. I'm going to get one at a time. Like Mike Tuttle, he was in Campus Crusade for Christ. His job was not to go there and get one person at a time. His job was to what? Go talk to somebody, share the gospel with them, encourage them to have a small group Bible study, get 3 friends together, I'll do it. And then he took those 3 friends and do what? Have them each get a Bible study and get those 9 people each getting a Bible study. And he would have to report his numbers every week to Campus Crusade for Christ. How many new exposures? How many new Christians? How many new Bible studies? And so when he came to Primerica, A.L. Williams, guess what he did? He did the same thing. But if you're a worker bee and all you know how to do is work and work hard, and I'm a good worker, you come here, you're looking for clients. I think, Bob, we got to stop trying to get people to become a salesperson. Here's the math. 90% of all people don't want to be in sales at all. And of the 10% that want to be in sales, less than 8% of them want to be in financial services. Why? Why is the hang up on financial services? Because it's not tangible. It's easy to sit down and say, let me talk about my iPhone. This iPhone is a good iPhone. Why don't you try it out? That's tangible. Drive this car. Look at my house, real estate. I mean, because it's tangible. You can feel it. We sell intangibles. All we sell are promises. So understand that if you're trying to recruit people to make sales for you, the statistics are so low. And if they do, no one ever comes here, Bob, and sells for the rest of their life. They may come in here and become an RVP to have RVPs, but eventually because they recruit people to be a salesman for them, they can never build hierarchies. You've got to see people as an RVP. You heard me tell the story about the book, The Jewish Phenomenon, and where I got the term phenomenon for the book, the Art Williams phenomenon. And it talks about how Jewish families, they name the profession they want their children to go into. And a man was walking down the street and saw this woman, Jewish woman, with her 2 Jewish boys, and asked, how old are you? How old are your boys? And the woman said, the lawyer is 5 and the doctor is 3. So when we sit down and say, this is my new guy, Gael. He's the future senior national sales director, and he's financially independent. Because you make them what you think about. And again, most people, they just want an override. I want Nick. Again, how many of us have messed up our lives by going out and saying, all I want are 5 people that'll make 3 sales a month each. And you can't find them, and you've been looking at them for 30 years. Nick, you had your hand up.
Coach, I was going to show this video like about 2 minutes ago. You were talking about expansion, and I was going to play this video and have you comment on it. You're talking about why did you move to Dallas? Because it was the most central location from everywhere. And your thinking, even back then, obviously was on steroids, because you weren't thinking, I'm just going to move here you were literally thinking, this is going to be the foundation. This is going to be the headquarters, the Orender headquarters, the mecca of my hierarchy. And it wasn't a place for you just to come and settle down and be comfortable. So look at this, y'all. And then Coach, you can comment on this video, but this is our future. Steph was like, we're going to look at this every day moving forward to start our day off when we talk about affirming our beliefs and thought patterns. So y'all look at this.
You see, Art Williams did that in his brochure, 1977, basically Atlanta, Georgia, and then 1989, all over the United States and into Canada. So that's the power of multiplication and distribution. And again, Walmart solves problems. I hit this last night. We are problem solvers. That's what we do for a living. And I mentioned the term serve. You know, we go to church and they say, be a servant of many people. If you think about what a servant is, it's a problem solver. I go to the restaurant and the server comes to solve my problem. I need food. He needs to go bring it to me. And we have to understand serving means solving problems. If you're solving people's problems, you're a servant and you need to serve. What's the problem people have financially, right? We understand that. That's a problem. But what's the other problem? 100% off one's a problem. They need a solution. What's the solution? 1% off 100. I've got a solution to every problem you have from a work standpoint. You're not making enough money. You're bored. You hate the commute. You hate your boss. All these problems, right? 70% of all Americans hate their Monday morning. They dread going into work. That's a problem that needs to be solved. What do? What's the solution? Primerica? No. Getting licensed here? No. Because it's another job. A license, having all your licenses and going out and selling is a job. It's 1% off 100. We can do for you what Walmart did. Imagine if you showed McDonald's in that same scenario. If you showed up the company, that's what attracted people to our business. When I do this thing called the Multiples Fast Start School, people, which I don't do anymore, because why? No one wants me to do it. I did about 10 of them, and then I stopped. I'm thinking, if they want me to do them, they'll call and ask. Not one person ever called again and asked to do a Multiples Fast Start School, which means what? They reverted back to 100% off one mindset. That's not why they came in this business. But when I did the school, people say, that's why I joined. Nick, our job is to, Walmart solves problems. Your job, you're a problem solver. I got a job, solve my problem, all right? You help me financially, okay? But are you solving my dreaded day-to-day? I don't like my boss. I got stressed. I'm working too much. My wife's got to work. Inflation's killing me. What's your solution to that? Most people try to creep people into Primerica. Look at all the companies we represent. Folks, they don't care about all the companies represent. That's credibility. What I wanted was unlimited income, secure income, freedom of time and money. That's the lure for me. Now, where else can I get that? Can I get that at any other financial services company offering that? No. They're all offering me a job. I got a job. And I don't want another job. I want opportunity. And the opportunity is what? I can multiply myself. That's why Art Williams was so successful, because he was not embarrassed by this. It wasn't an ick factor for him. And he wasn't mortified. Oh, I don't want to show this to people. I can't tell you how many people I've gone out in the field with. They said, no, don't talk to them about the opportunity, because they're embarrassed by it. Yet when I walked in there, and within 10 minutes, he was complaining about his job. I was talking to somebody, and they said, if you want to hear a lot of complaining, go to the home office in Atlanta, Georgia, and get around the people in the cafeteria. They're complaining. They don't want to be there. Great company, yeah, but it's a job. And there's no future. It's just 40 years of dread every Monday morning, TGIF, Hump Wednesday, 3 to 4% pay rate. I'm not complaining about Primerica. It's just another company. That's what its job is to do. Nick, we can change the world. We can change their world. The greatest honor we have is presenting people a better life. And the better life can only come with 1% off 100. Again, I don't care if they join me or not. If they say to me, Bill, you're right, I got to have a 1% off 100 life, but I'm joining this multi-level marketing. I said, great. When you get your toe stepped on, call me. But I did my job. Dan, I can't tell you. I didn't care if people became if they bought term insurance from me. My heart was in the right place. Dan, I want to sit down with you and with your wife and show you a better way to handle your money. And I don't care if you become my customer. That's my mission. I don't care what church you join. But they all became my clients when I put my heart in the right place. Same thing. I don't care if you join my company. I want to show you a life-changing mindset and altering that will change your life like it did mine and so many others. And then quote Warren Buffett, then quote Sam Walton, then quote T.D. Jakes. Then quote Art Williams, The Power of Three. And say, almost need a drum roll when he talked about the power of three. And then if they don't like it, wonderful. Then we know that hellhole they'll stay in for the rest of their life. Who wants to spend the rest of their life in a hellhole? We know 40, 45 years. I'm telling you, I don't know anybody that wants to go to work Monday morning. They do it what? I owe, so off to work I go. So Nick, it's a universal mission field out there for us to get people an alternative that they never knew existed. People only knew whole life. They didn't know buy term investor S existed. They knew cash value. They didn't know mutual funds existed. And it was an honor and a privilege for us to do that for them. Even if people own their own business, all it is it's a job. Real estate's a job. They can't multiply. Unless you can multiply and have more than one income coming in from one source, then you're going to be in trouble one day. Because why? Because you wear out, you burn out. Sales is a burnout profession. Nobody wants to be in sales. Rarely do you see a 50, 60-year-old salesman on the road, away from their family, on an airplane. No one wants to make $250,000 a year, not have any time with their family. I'm telling you, if you're going to make $250,000 a year anywhere, whether or not it's here or someplace else, just selling, you're going to have a hard time finding time for your family. Dan, what do you think about all this, Dan, that I'm saying?
Well, you're dead on. You're going to go through life. The bottom line is we live in America. You got to get money. You got to have money coming on in. So you're gonna just when I first started this business a long time ago, I remember saying to myself, I'm going to do a job. This offers me an opportunity to have freedom and control my time by not only being in your own business, of course, but through the duplication. I mean, why wouldn't you not want to be able to override somebody, to share, or as Mitchell said a couple weeks ago, share in the profits, or, why not duplicate? So yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's called freedom. It's called a life. I mean, it kills me. We just lost a brother-in-law last week, and the whole family came in from around, and I'm sitting, one of his, my brother-in-law's nephews is a United airline captain. And that's about where I was at, just about ready to go when I came into A.L. Williams at the time. And we're talking, and I mean, it was a wonderful conversation because, I mean, I haven't talked that much. I definitely nerded out about airplanes for a little while with them. But as we're talking, in the back of my mind, I'm going, I made the right choice. He's got to get in that darn airplane, and he's got to take it off, and he's got to get the altitude, and he flies overseas, and, they're flying, 10, 12, 15-hour trips, and there's two crews, and, one takes off, and one of the other four guys landed, and, and I'm thinking, geez, my biggest worry this morning when I got up is, was getting over here for, to show my support to my sister-in-law. And when this all, I didn't have to, when this all settles down and I get back into my little routine next week, I don't have to get into an airplane and do the performance, I get to, so it's the freedom that this business gives you, and why, when and to go back real quick, when we sit down with folks and you feel that little, some people, you start feeling that little tinge of, well, that's the thing. And I remember saying to a couple of people, they said, well, you trying to recruit me? And I said, well, I'm not interested in all that. And I look at them and I say, you know what, getting to know you as I have now, it would be an insult to you if I didn't talk to you about this for a little bit, and so that's what I'm getting, Bill.
Well, Dan, again, you can either have assets under management, or you can have people under management. And assets under management, those clients are really your bosses. And nothing wrong with that, but that's not what I want. I did not sign up to answer phone calls 5-6 days a week from clients handling their stuff. I wanted to have again, I'm like no one ever calls me, and please don't think you should call me, but no one ever calls me. I got an office manager who handles all that stuff. And I pray for her daily because she's very critical in my life. Yvonne, she's spectacular. But I want people. I want to be involved in people. I want relationships with people that are ongoing. And all you folks, Holly, I want to talk to you about your dreams and your hopes and your desires, and offer you what I have. Again, I'm not enough to think that you want what I got, but I also think that you must think, I got to rescue other people. We're in a rescuing effort, not a sales effort, not a recruiting effort. Recruiting means I'm getting them into something. Rescuing means you're getting them out of something. So this company changed my life. And Carol and I were talking last night on the way home that how our life has changed because of all the people that we have. And no one's life gets changed because they help people get into mutual funds. You can make money and you can have a little bit better life, but it's not going to change. Just a higher level. Here, freedom, independence, like Dan was talking about. Why don't we offer people freedom of time and money? And Art Williams says in the A. Williams way, there's only one way to get freedom of time and money, Mary. That's what? Overrides. So on a scale of 1 to 10, we've got to make sure that we're not having that ick factor. Ooh, hope he doesn't say pyramid. Hope he doesn't say multi-level marketing. Folks, he's in a hellhole. Again, if that guy's got a whole life policy, I don't care what he says about me. I'm getting him out of that thing. At least he'll know how I feel about it. If he's got a whole life, if he's got money in a CD, I'm talking to him about it. If he's got a job, I'm talking to him about it. Why? Because he doesn't know there's an alternative. Doesn't have to be that way. Haven't all of us said, I wish I'd seen this 10 to 15 years earlier? All of us. Man, I wish I saw this when I was 22 and avoided corporate America. Or at college, going to college and all that money I spent in college, and I'm glad I got my degree. Why? It taught me how to do what I didn't want to do when I didn't want to do. I didn't know how to study, ever wanted to study. And when I got here, I didn't want to make phone calls, but I did it anyway. Nick, I'll hand it back over to you, and I need to be moving over to my next Zoom call. God bless everyone. Boy, I love it, what we do. I love the offer we're making. It is an offer they cannot refuse.
Coach,
1% off 100. All right, everyone.
Coach, can you give us a few minutes? We talked about on Monday about selling the sizzle. What you just did for us right now was the sizzle of your life, what you're experiencing. And I couldn't imagine if you got a phone call with somebody and you're mentoring them and coaching them, and they say, "Oh, hold on, Bill. Let me call you back. One of my clients is calling." Right? Can you imagine that? Like you said, you're literally owned by your clients instead of getting the coaching from you to override multiple people who are going to bring clients. So can you talk about this little slide right quick and give us what your take on this is right quick? Because ultimately, let me pull it up, Coach, and see if you can see that. If you can answer this right quick. Our client, the people we think are clients are not our clients, they're customers. Your clients are everybody on this call as the RVPs and future RVPs. Those are your clients, right? And we kind of got it mismatched. Can you clarify this for us right quick, Coach, and then head out of here?
That's an excellent a slide, because you're right. And my job, my clients, I want them to grow. There's relationships with them. A customer comes in and it goes out. You know, a customer at McDonald's comes in, he goes out. He's not a client when he walks into McDonald's. He's a customer. They're in for a moment. So many of our sales are made and we never see the people again. I've sold hundreds and hundreds of mutual funds monthly and never call them. They never call back. They were customers. With us, we build relationships. Art Williams says the relationship building is the cornerstone to your growth. And I pray, I don't pray for customers. When they go into McDonald's, no one prays for them. But for many of you, I pray for you on an almost daily basis, everyone by name. Daryl, Porter, I pray for you 5-6 days a week. Nick, I pray for you, and Stephanie, and Rodney, and Dan, I pray for you, and Andre. I pray for you by name, Carolyn. God bless Carolyn. I call her, thank God, Carolyn. Why? Because there's a deep relationship there, and that's embedded in me. You're a part of me like my family is. A customer is here today, gone tomorrow. Clients, they stay with you forever. All right, Nick. Giovanni, do you have a question real quick?
Yes, Coach, I did. Phenomenal talk this morning. I just wanted to catch this and before you went. But if you can sum it up in 2 to 3 words, why leaders in Primerica stop wanting the multiples fast starts, what would be those 3 words that come to mind?
They forgot where they came from. And
That's good.
yeah, and they forget its power. They get on and get distracted. They forget their first love. And when you fall in love with the compounding, you want everyone to have it. I want everyone to be married. I want everyone to be a Christian. I want everyone to be a daddy. I want everyone to be a grandparent. I want everyone to be involved in their children. I want everyone to go to church.
Yeah.
And you fall away from that. And now it becomes like people see recruiting as changing diapers and the hassle of recruiting, because 5 recruits they had didn't get licensed and didn't do anything, and they give up on the hope of people.
Yeah.
And Art Williams says we sell hope, a dream, and an opportunity. And we can never grow weary. Galatians 6:9, do not grow weary of doing good for others. If you don't relax your efforts, in due time, you will reap your harvest. And we grow weary with people, where people wear you out because they disappoint you, because they didn't do what you wanted them to do. That's why the multiples answers that. I don't get weary with people, because I have so many people coming and going and eventually someone's gonna stick, and someone's gonna stick their head up. And I'm never giving up on. They're just like me. Someone cared enough about me. Again, Art Williams created revolutionized an industry by revolutionizing people's lives. Virginia didn't recruit me, she revolutionized my life. I want others to have the life that I've got. I'm naive enough to think people want that life. They want a marriage. In my interviews, I've interviewed 23 people for the book. And ultimately what they say is, I came here and I saw good marriages, and I want marriages like that. I saw kids and I wanted my kids to be like their kids. I wanted my faith to be like their faith. And we're inviting them into this cocoon, this life-changing cocoon that will change for generations, because a changed life will change their kids and their kids and their kids. Virtually every one of the people that I interviewed said, I found Jesus Christ here. They wouldn't have found it. 6 marriages said that we wouldn't have survived if we had not been in this company. I want people into that cocoon. I want people into that culture. I want people into environment. Because out there, the world, where else are you going to go? Giovanna, seriously, where else are you going to go?
Nowhere.
You have a better marriage. Even churches don't do it, because they only get you for an hour on a Sunday, and maybe you go to a Bible study, but then you go to the hellhole called a job.
Mm-hmm.
And you're miserable 40, 50 hours a week. Here, there's hope. And boy, do I love giving people hope. God bless everyone. I got to run. Nick, great job today. See you next time, everyone.
Nick, I thought this is what came to mind when I heard Coach say that the leaders in Primerica stop wanting the multiples fast starts. And Nick, I don't know if you can relate to this, right? I don't even know how long you've been in business, but I thought immediately, if they're sitting in a crowd and there's a founder or original that's on the stage and they're talking about the power of multiples, right? even Albert Einstein said it, like Coach said in the beginning of the meeting, it's one of the nine wonders, right? But I thought fear of rejection, you know, imagine sitting in a fast start school and you bring guests and they say, hey, I don't think this is for me. I also thought fear of judgment. What is this? What are you doing? Are you doing one of these MLM things, right? I thought fear of success, because most people don't self-develop or they're not mentally tough enough that they self-sabotage, right? It's not the fear of failure, it's the fear of success. What if I actually win here? Or is my family going to come and hound me for money? You know, am I going to change when I get to the top? And you know, one of the things I've learned from being in this business is that money does not change you. It simply enhances who you already are. So if you're already a good person, you know, my advice is buy into the multiples, because you'll change more lives. You'll be an even better person. If you're already a giver, go out there and make a bunch of money, because you'll give more. You'll actually impact more people. But I was literally floored, Nick, and flabbergasted when he said that people stop asking for it. And I know Coach exited the meeting already, but I would recommend and suggest that you guys who are in the hierarchy and in the base shop say, Coach, can we get one of those multiple fast starts? Because we want to build multiples. We want to get that training. We want to become free. You know, so that was my takeaways, Nick.
Yeah, I thought it was very powerful. It's one of the reasons why we wanted Coach to, he came and did a meeting last night, and very powerful because, like he said, kind of as we were in passing in the earlier day yesterday, it's not what, Bill, why do you think that way? It was the original design to think this way. The company has shifted. I haven't shifted my thinking. I'm an Art Williams guy.
Yeah.
The company has shifted to all this other stuff. And he's like, people talk about the wall of wealth. He's like, they're looking at it wrong. I'm recruiting people who recruit people. And in the process of recruiting, oh, by the way, I do have a rollover. He didn't say go pop up a stand and be a vulture in front of a company so you can get all the rollover. He said, I didn't say that. I'm not saying rollovers are bad. I don't want to be a rollover expert. I want the rollover in the process of growing, building, distribution. So he said, I'm not anti-securities. Remember he said this y'all last night? I'm not anti-securities. I'm not anti-life insurance. I'm not anti-prepaid legal, but I am pro getting you to RVP, right? That's what I'm about, is what he said. And so look at this, y'all, because you think about what Bill and what R. Williams decided to do. This is exactly what Coach shared yesterday a little bit. And he said, R. Williams said, I'm going to work on my business so I don't have to work in my business. And then Bill, my number one focus is to work myself out of having to work. I'm not lazy, but I realize I can help more people by not doing it myself. See, I was talking with someone yesterday or a couple of days ago, and they said, hold on, let me, that's why I brought that example up. A client is calling me. Like, are you kidding me, bro? You better tell that client to go somewhere. We're over here talking about expansion. You're talking about your clients calling you? That's your customer who will leave for 2 cents less. So, and then Bill, my mission is to get you to the SNSD $1 million earner position. And once again, Rod, what if you was on the phone talking with Bill and he's talking about, I'm gonna get you to, right? Oh, hold on, Coach, somebody's calling me about their prepaid legal. Let me call you back. Hold on, somebody's calling me about changing beneficiaries. Let me call you back. There's nothing wrong with those things, but right? And so, like he said, I'm not anti the products. I'm just pro promotion, is what his words were, quote unquote. I'm not anti-product, I'm pro promotions. And we started thinking about these A.L. Williams people that we saw in Unicoi. Their mindset was totally different, and stuff like that. Look at this quote here, and I'm gonna come holler at y'all for some reactions from today's training. you can defeat some demons and join their company, right? And like Coach has said, some of the demons are all the products. The company is too confusing. We celebrate the will. Y'all notice on the opportunity meeting, right? We didn't talk about all that other stuff because the people leave the meeting going, was I being sold something here tonight? Or am I supposed to join something? I don't know what's going on. We wanted people to leave the meeting and go, this is a business where I can go and multiply. I see myself becoming one of those broker thingies. Like someone said, a broker thingy, like I think the lady said VP or something. That's what they remember. So we're gonna stick to that. We'll obviously go over everything, but the focus of the meeting was we're growing, we need more people, here's the benefits of getting started with us, and here's the income potential. Right? And so Art Williams and approaching it by that way. So real quickly, y'all, let's just open up the floor and we'll just start with you, Giovanna. So you said, why doesn't Bill do that? That's why we had that meeting though yesterday. It was to get, first of all, get Coach back into the live session where he can literally just be unplugged, like Rod just said, literally unplugged, where people leave that meeting go, I'm gonna give me a franchise.
Yeah.
So if we can have people leaving a meeting going, I'm gonna give me an office in 6 months versus saying, I'm gonna give me 50 clients, right? No, I'm gonna give me an office in 6 months. They're leaving the meeting going, wow, what did I just step into?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so we want to do that again. So y'all, real quickly, I know Steph and Kara were talking. We're thinking maybe mid-May, late May, we're going to host a spring spectacular. And really what I'm going to do is going to be a multiple school where we leave May and go for these next 6 months, it's all about recruiting. So we're going to have a spring spectacular here in Dallas somewhere. And it's going to be a day locker room with Coach and talking about really what he shared last night, just on kind of a bigger scale, give him a little bit more bigger platform to do it and stuff like that. So we'll be planning that. So we're gonna, with all you leaders, we want to really sell this like it's a big event because that's what it's going to be. So anyway, he was excited when we talked about it. So I'm gonna turn it over to you, Giovanna.
So first and foremost, I talked to Coach last week after opportunity night. So Tuesday ops, I will be on every single Tuesday, to do my part in opportunity night. It was kind of something that, the Holy Spirit put on me to plug into this environment and also to grow and bring my base shop over as well, to be a part of the environment because you have to speak one language, number one, Nick. And I'm gonna reach out to Coach as well to see if he'll actually be in the office because I'm going to be in the Dallas Fort Worth area, May 4th and 5th. So hopefully we can get something going in the office.
I know you say May 4th. I know we're leaving for North Carolina. That's May 5th is Friday. So we're going to be in North Carolina.
Okay.
Yeah.
So with that being said, my biggest takeaways outside of that, is number one, when you come in, because the reality is my thinking has shifted 1000% from just getting leaders, as R says, throw them up against the wall and then you hope for the best, like throwing crap on the wall, right? You have to be strategic, and R said it, as a leader, you want to develop your own management philosophy. And it wasn't until I came into a strictly builder's environment and understanding, I was saying this on our RVP meeting yesterday, Ms. Carolyn Myers can attest to this, literally understanding the mindset of the founder and what we came here for. Yes, when we get on here every Saturday, we're not bashing the other products and services. All the leaders and all coaches saying is that it is a byproduct. Yes, you should do it. You should get competent at the products and services so that you can service your clients, but we don't want anyone becoming a slave to products and services, right? if you're going to spend your time, look, I'm looking at the screen and all the RVPs and the future RVPs for series are going like this, right? If you really want to come here and become free, you have to shift the mindset to a builder's mentality, right? And for me, guys, I came here in this environment and I saw Shanika Turner, right, who went from sales to strictly building, and now she's gotten her SNSD promotion, has a hierarchy and things like that. And it was, that was someone that I was studying. I was studying Shanika Turner, I was studying Coach, and then I landed in this environment. That wasn't a coincidence. That was a goal. I set out a plan. I started writing things down, and God said, you know what? Let me put this person in front of you. Let me put these people in front of you where you can actually pick their brain and ask questions. Because, for those of y'all who don't know, in 2020, I moved here after having my daughter, who just turned 3 yesterday. And she was a preemie. She was born 3 pounds and a couple ounces, and she was in the NICU. After a week, we moved here to Houston, Texas, not knowing anyone, and we built a business in a pandemic, strictly virtually, right? Got the ring in 9 months from home while dealing with postpartum depression and grief, because my father-in-law was tragically murdered a month after us moving here. And so traveling back and forth to New Orleans, being in Houston, running and growing a team, that was my joy, guys. Like, Coach said, people run away from it because, people fall into the heartbreak hotel of the rejection or people quitting on you. But if you have a constant circulation of new people coming in, it keeps you excited. And Primerica was my haven. Just like Coach said, it saved my marriage. It's the reason why I actually got married to my husband today. And the reason why we have a successful God-fearing marriage today is because it is business, right? But you don't want to veer away from people. And if you have a bad taste in your mouth, Jenny, right? Hey, Jenny Lewis. Out there in Mississippi, that's that builder's mindset right there, right? But if you veer away from people, guys, it's simply because you fell into the heartbreak hotel, right? You don't want to nurture people because your feelings got hurt. And that's simply because you're not going through enough people. And I thought about in that time frame, from moving here and not knowing anyone, building this business virtually, that's great, right? I think it's kind of impressive to go out there and get the ring in 9 months. New location, untapped with a newborn, nursing a baby while dealing with grief. I'm not downplaying anything that I went through, because my story is my story. But your people, keeping your people around and having that physical environment is super important. You have to have that touch and feel capacity. And that was something that I learned, because I went from a high in my business to a low very, very fast because the people wasn't tangible. I couldn't coach them through their issues. If they lost someone, I couldn't coach them how, I dealt with grief and, still ran a business. I couldn't coach my new moms on, how to keep it blowing and going with a newborn. I couldn't coach my married couples when they were having financial issues on how all you had to do is get on one accord, support one another, and get on appointments, right? It's the people component that makes this opportunity special. Because see, if you come here for products and services, like Nick said, you can go to a Transamerica or State Farm or Edward Jones or Charles Schwab if they allow you to. If they allow you to put your foot in the door, you'll probably be more lucrative and make money in sales, right? But if you come here, I'm telling you guys today to buy into the freedom aspect of it. Being plugged into this environment for the last 6-7 months has completely given me a paradigm shift. And one of my leaders, I don't know if she's on. But she was newly licensed, right? I said, look, you got to start setting appointments so that you can become solo. And then from solo, you need to get into management, right? And so one of the things that she said when we got on the appointment, she set the appointment for the sake of a sale. And I said, listen, you recruit that person, you have the market. Their sale is inevitable, right? But if you just go for the sale, the chances of you getting them on business is you're going to come off salesy. They're not going to want to roll with you. Because the reality is you come off as a salesperson and people hate sales, right? I recruited the person and she said the other day, well, I probably should have just wrote the sale because I knew she wasn't going to do anything. It doesn't matter if she's going to do anything or not. The sale is always there. And whether she do anything or not, she has 15 to 25 people that you and I have met had it not been for her. So let's go ahead and let's talk to her, whether she's busy or not. Busy is good. And I think people get that twisted, like on this Zoom call today, you know, Miss Carolyn Myers would say, oh my God, I don't want to go at this person because they're busy. No, busy is good. That means they're ambitious. They want it. They're going after something. They just don't know that the opportunity and the possibility that you have for them is for them. You don't let them know that they can do it because they're already busy. See, guys, I was already busy. I was a mom when I got started. I was studying pharmacology, dropped out of nursing school, did hair on the side, and a supervisor at T-Mobile. I was busy, but I was also looking, you know? So my biggest takeaway is that don't let this die out, guys. Man, Primerica, as I get on this call, Primerica has the people. So they can put senior healthcare webinars, securities trips, run to Mohegan. We have MPI training. They have all the resources for you to become great at products and services. You want to know why? Because Primerica has the army. They have the army to push products. So you don't. Go out there and build distribution, teammates. If you don't get anything else, go out there, build the army so that you can go to war. Because there's going to become a point in time in your life where you're going to need the army that backs you. You may develop a health issue. You're probably going to deal with a death in the family. You may have new life. You may just want to travel. Your kids may become adolescents or have weddings that you want to pay for, or a skill or a gift or a disability that you want to incubate. You need an army behind you. And that's the one thing that Art did. And he passed down to the originals in a Grace Like Coach, right? And that's one of the things that I aspire and that I will do. This message, these meetings, these Tuesdays, these Saturdays, the op nights will not go in vain. So that was my takeaways. I know I was kind of long-winded, but I was compelled to share that.
Put on your spirit. That's what it's about. So look at this, y'all. Look at this right quick. I'm gonna come to you, Dan. You're Dan, because you're Dan, you're an SVP, $400,000 earner, right? You have RVPs, you got assets under management, you got assets under management, right? And you got a passive income coming in, you help clients and stuff like that, right? And all that good stuff. Look at this, y'all. You talk about an exit strategy, right? Is a conversation that we show people. You think about this, the ESBI. How many of us talk about ESBI on a presentation? And you talk about this is a doctor, right? Because I think, you know, it's glamorized that somebody's a doctor, right? But you think about it, the most highly stressed people in our society are doctors and lawyers, right? The highest suicide rate, by the way, comes from lawyers. And so, coincidence? I don't know, right? Whatever. But self-employed, even more stress because you become all things to everybody, right? And like Bill says, all right, I don't want to be answering phone calls. Did y'all hear what he said? Like last night, one of the guests said, this dude said every day is Friday night, Friday afternoon for me. He said, I live like my every day is Friday. Who wants that? And it's a really, I'm kind of looking at the person, right? Or thinking about it, it's really an IQ test. Right? If this man says that, then you got the business owner, right? Who has more, who can see more patients, they can help more people, who has a higher quality of life. But then you take a lawyer, and you take Johnny Cochran, right? Who was very successful when he was a lawyer. Then he went over to the self-employed range. And then obviously he passed away. But y'all look at this. If you Google right now, the Cochran firm, they took this man's legacy and took it to a whole new level. They literally got lawyers in every state, and they're proud to represent this man because of the crusade that he started, right? And stuff like that. And so you just think about how things can change when we talk about an exit strategy and how these people are feeding off of that. So Dan, and then Miss Carolyn, we'll come to you, and then Rod.
So Nick, is there a question in there?
Well, you're a SVP, so you know how to build and promote RVPs. And like Bill was saying, the salt is what we sell. We sell the sizzle. The sizzle, the system is not the wall of wealth. It's the system that brings it all in, he said. That's what I mean when I say the wall of wealth. People hear and they think, oh, I want you to become a securities guru. He says, he reiterated, I am not anti-product. I am just pro-promotion. That's all. And in the system of getting people promoted, which he said is code word for recruiting and products, and he said specifically premium. He said promotions are really a code word for recruits and premium. Somebody's getting promoted, like we had 2 districts get promoted, right? That was code word that they brought in recruits and they brought in premium. So both of those things are happening simultaneously. So I don't know if it's a question, Dan, but more just so your mindset on now that you have obviously 1, 2 generations in the business, but now having twins, newborns, like Bill says last night, my great grandkids will never have to worry about money. I saved this slide. Look at this before you come up. Look at this, y'all. Where is it at? La 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 la. It was from that video that showed the Walton family. Did y'all see that? Go ahead, Dan. I'll pull it up here in a little bit, but go ahead.
Well, then to your point, then, Nick, let me just start out by saying, there is no reason not to make money in Primerica. Let me just start out there. When you first start on out, until you get the multiples really start moving, you make money with your pin. Back in the day, we used to call it the pin. Now it's on your, on your keypad. But listen, there's no reason not to make money in this business, doggone it. And, because we got stuff that people need, but the products come through the recruiting. I came on board, I was 24, single, living home, mom and dad at the time. I had no market, but it was like as obvious as holy heck, talk to people that are in the market, married, home, and kids. And just talking to him about the opportunity, I started making money. So, make money, doggone it. Get out there, start talking. And in the talking to people about the business, you shoot for the recruit and you at least get the sale out of it in the meantime. It's stupid not to make money in this thing and do business with people when you're talking to people because they need the stuff. Are you with me? I hope I'm not I might get some people upset here, but doggone it, get talking. All right. Now, the easiest way to prospect is to talk about the opportunity. You talk about making extra money. And in that conversation, you got to explain what we do. And then there's the terms there. Then there's the mutual funds. Now, we've gotten this reputation as being a securities guru. Well, the reason for that is I hired enough people that I had a couple of them that took off into it. Are you with me? And boy, I probably learned more from them I got a couple that really took off in the security side, especially after Art left there. And the RVPs, my little humble opinion here with my little world of Primerica, you don't develop RVPs. No, they come through the numbers. You start bringing people on in, and if your environment's the right environment, you're talking about building offices, the people will start grabbing a hold of it. There's going to be a few of them that get a hold of it. So you don't have to I got to groom them to be an RVP. Heck no, they see the opportunity and they start going for it. The biggest RVP I had, he went on to well over $250,000 in income. Neil Childs passed away 2 years ago. I didn't have to teach him how to set a schedule. Anytime we had managers meetings, as soon as they were over with, he was gone within a half an hour, and I still got the stragglers hanging around. We're shooting a bull for a minute. Neil was gone because he made an appointment to go do something right away. I didn't teach him that. He had that ambition. So through the numbers, through the recruiting, you're going to get them. Giovanna, God bless, and listen, there's some young folks on this call. It's just exciting to see how this young generation's really, you all take Nick and Giovanna and Kiara, if she's on here, and been really taken to this. This is wonderful that that your generation is seeing like, yeah, jobs aren't where it's at. You know, Giovanna, I'm sure nobody really had to say RVP, RVP. She just seen what was going on and let's get, she went after it. Okay. It was probably the easiest person that her, you know, the guy that brought me on in took me on a one training appointment. And then he dumped me because the gal that I brought on by recruited had such a warm market. And there I was. And I was like, well, now what do you do? Well, that's no dumb excuse, right? Let's just get talking to people. So what's the point I'm trying to make with this? Winners win and losers lose. And you're going to bring a bunch of people on board. And listen, when I say that, don't dismiss. I mean, a couple of my favorite guys over the years, I had one guy that came on board, had all kind of, he was older than me by 25 years, Ray Antio, I'll never forget it, God rest his soul now. And he was just trying all the time. And I get him a hanger in an awards banquet. A guy just took a hanger off the dang closet in an awards banquet. Charlie, I don't know if you remember Ray. And I gave him the hanging in there award, you know. You know what that guy went and did with that thing? He went on out and got it chromed, whatever it is, put it on a board, and he hung that up in his, I mean, it killed me, man. That was that touching to him. And he would go on out and do a sale every now and then. You know, you want that. You have to have that. Okay, that's not a loser. When I say losers, people come on board and, you know, they're like this and don't hang along wall and then take off. So the point is, people are going to see it. The ones that are going to do it are going to get after it. And it is such a joy to be able to have this thing start working. When Neil really started taking off out there, I remember saying, man, it's working. This was after my replacement. My replacement was 60 licensed people. My replacement went on a six-figure income. I mean, it was just incredible. But Neil was my first guy that really started taking hold of it. And it's such a feeling that, all right, somebody's got this thing now. It's not just me on out there getting this going on. I've got this people and this one's starting to. And so Nick, I don't know if I made any sense out of all that. Bobby Buisson says it best. And I'll try to do my best Bobby Buisson imitation. Hey, talk to lots and lots and lots of people. And things start happening.
That's exactly right. And Bill said last night, so thank you, Dan. Bill said last night about the grandkids, right? We never have their thumb on them, right? So you look at the Walton family. Now, this is a few years old, this particular episode that they did, but look at the net worths of the Walton inheritors, all from what Sam Walton did. So, and then you think they're pretty old now. And so they don't have a lot of men in the family. I think they have a couple of young men, but from a kid standpoint, but the Walton family is set for multiple generations. So Bill asked the crowd, like, ultimately, at the end of the day, what's your family gonna do? You gonna keep building your boss's company, right? You're gonna work hard. You're gonna labor. You're going to be out in the field. Why not build a field for your family though? And when people talk about scam, oh my goodness, we were talking about last night, Rod. The scam is really, you don't even know that you're part of a scam because you're building somebody else. You done bought into the corporate scam, the education scam, the credit card scam, the mortgage scam. You done bought into all these. You didn't even recognize they got you so brainwashed and indoctrinated. You are a robot for them. And when real opportunity comes because of your indoctrination, you pass it up because you done bought into the wrong kind of scam. Right? And don't even recognize that you're literally voicing it for all these other companies. So Mama Carolyn, what are some of your thoughts from today's training?
Wow. This is so good. Man, I am so grateful to God that I get to be in this room. You know, I forgot who it was. Somebody recently on a training says, man, you get to be in the room. And so I am grateful that I get to be in this room today. No better place. Huh? Nick, what? Can you hear me? Yeah. Okay. All right. I thought maybe all I can see is you. So, man, I'm grateful to God. I'm so grateful to God because I mean, I'm 73 years old. I'll be 74 this year. And how many 73-year-olds would have the ability to say, I spent the best part of my life in an environment where I was in control? Man, I'm grateful to God. But anyway, my takeaways from today's meeting and is, first of all, man, guys, if you're not an RVP, you need to get there. Like, what are you waiting for? Because otherwise, you're just able to tell everybody else's story. When you get to be RVP, that's the beginning where your story begins. And Nick showed this video of Walmart. See, Sam Walton was working for somebody else in a 5 and dime store. And he went to his boss and said, I think you should do it like this. And the boss says, well, I think you need to get back to work. And so he didn't stop there. He went and started his own. And just like we saw that video, how it started with one and multiplied out. I Googled my area, and I live in a small town in Texas. And there's 11 Walmarts within a 5-mile radius of me. 11. That started with that one in Arkansas. And so when I saw that, I wrote myself a statement that says, you need to become the A.L. Williams outlet in your vicinity and build those others all around you. I don't know how many RVPs we have in this Dallas metropolitan area, but there's not nearly enough. Our company's 40 some years old. Here we are, and I don't think there's another any other RVPs in Frisco, but me and Tony. No, Tony's in McKinney. So there's lots of room for RVPs, and there's no reason for the multiplication to stop. The need has grown even greater. So that I got from today's meeting. And the next thing I got was the brainwashing. Our brains have been washed. We've been brainwashed, but we've been brainwashed to be servants building other people's businesses. Our brains need to be washed so that we can be servants of our own families and build our own businesses. And so it's going to, for that brainwashing, we got to be indoctrinated in this. Once a week, twice a week is not enough. Just like Stephanie said, we got to watch this every day until we get it. That's what we have to do. We have to wash our brains to use our God-given talents and our abilities to go out and rescue others. We know what the system is, build RVPs, and that has to be our focus. And we've got to block everything else out. Become an RVP and build RVPs. And I'm talking to myself, guys. I have not arrived. And I'm grateful, though, that we get to start over every day, that the Lord wakes us up is another opportunity for us to get it right this time, like Bill says. And the last thing, oh, Bill said this before he left, don't forget where you came from. Where would I be today? I know where I would be if I was still a secretary. I would be living off of Social Security right now, because they don't have no 70-year-old secretaries working in law firms, right? The 70-year-olds are doing minimum wage labor if they still have to work. They're not working, they're not doing what I was doing. So I know where I came from, and I'm grateful to God that I'm there. And guys, you have to see yourself 20 years from now, where am I going to be? Last thing. Create multiple.
Close.
Huh?
That was your third close like a preacher.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I am Baptist. Yeah, that's what you have to do. Remind everybody. Okay, this is it. I can't find my page, but I'm gonna go. This is the last close. Yesterday, and in our RVP meeting, they were talking about getting better at distributing products and all of that. And my mind went to Bill Orender, and it says, look, the difference between an entrepreneur and distributors. An entrepreneur builds firms that create distributors. Distributors take those products and they give them to the customers. Guys, I think all of that is noble, but it's no question about which one makes the most money. Like Art Williams, he became an entrepreneur. He was working for this company. He was a distributor. He was making $100,000 when in 1977, which was a whole lot of money. I don't know what it equates to today, but he was doing well. But he became an entrepreneur, got away from the 100% off of one income, became an entrepreneur, built distribution, and he became a billionaire. Not 100,000-aire. He became a billionaire. That's where the money is in becoming an entrepreneur that builds distribution that reaches customers. My final quote. Thank you.
Remembered in that video, great job. Remember that video, y'all? What did the voice person was saying? Michael Jordan made millions when he played ball. He became a billionaire though when he got into kind of that big league, the ownership league. Same thing Abigail was saying. You're not going to get rich thinking you're going to work a job, pay normal income taxes, and think you're going to make it. That's not how you're going to do it, right? And this is what Bill said. I can't wait till we do this spring spectacular, y'all. It's going to be off the chain. Because when coaches unplugged, he said, okay, so you want to be financial expert. Okay. How many life apps did the company do last month? He said 53,000. Okay. How much of those came through your organization? He said, you see, the company will win. Vegas, the house will win. Primerica's going to win with or without any of us. The question is, are you going to play their game or are you going to play your game? Like Giovanna just said, they have 136,000 licensed reps. We don't. So we have to treat our business different. Right now, if we had 136,000, okay, yeah, we can do all this stuff. We ain't there yet. So, Rod, you saw Coach live and in charge last night. And then DP, we're gonna come to you. Rod, what were some of your big takeaways?
Well, Nick, I tell you, man, you know, Coach really kind of gave it to us, you know, in the first portion of the training session. I had so many takeaways, man, but, you know, I guess what I'm feeling right now, Nick, is that, you know, I was taught that when the cake is done, you take it out the oven, let it cool, and then you enjoy it. And with all the training, I mean, with all the speakers today, I can't add nothing else to it, man. The cake is already done, bro. With Coach and then Dan and Giovanna and Mama Carolyn, and the way you kind of, you know, narrate and navigate and pull it all together. I can't, I mean, I got so much, but I just don't want to overbake the cake. You know what I mean? And so I you know, I'll pass on my remarks until another time, but I just want to just digest what's already been prepared and really benefit from that, if it's okay with you, sir.
Yeah. No, I totally understand. So listen, this is Steph and I was leaving. We're talking about this spring event. Why do we want to do it in the middle of May? First of all, it's going to introduce us to the second half of 2023, right? But then it's basically a year sprint to the dome, right? Like Coach said yesterday, I don't see you be obviously going there as your first time as an RVP. You could be, if the right mindset is there, Nick, you could be going across the stage as SVP, $300,000 earner, future jersey winner, right? Promoting 3-4 RVPs by that event, just like we used to do back in the day. And so, as he said, I'm gonna show you, and this is the language, y'all, we want to start using. Let me show you how to get into Primerica, number one, but I'm gonna show you how to get out. not out the business, but out of the field. So these first 2, 3, 4, 5 years, that's all we're gonna do. We're gonna show how to get in, and like Coach said, I'm gonna help you get out. So every day is gonna be Friday. And so once again, now we're just seasoning these new people with this mentality. I'm gonna get in and get out of here. I'll be done, so I'm gonna live my life, right? And do what I want to do, things that are important to me. DP.
Oh, okay. I'm like Rod, Nick, and let me say this. I'm glad you didn't put me on today. I was supposed to be on today, but see, it would have been a setup because Nick, you would have had me talking about doing some stuff that Bill just slammed to the floor, and so I'm glad I didn't have to do it. Bill said, "Don't be a good DP." He just, I'm telling y'all that he said, "Don't be a good DP. DP know too much stuff, and DP be trying to do too much stuff sometimes. Don't be a good him. Be a good Rod Logan. Be a good Dan Gunas. Be a good Javonna. Be a good Carolyn Meyer. Keep creating distribution, and quit trying to please clients." That's what he said. He said, keep creating distribution, quit trying to please clients. That's good enough for me, right? That's the icing on the cake. Blow the candles out, party's over.
So look at it this way, because I asked DP to y'all to talk about today the power of you. And that's really what we do when we're talking with people. We're neighborhood, as y'all have heard this before, we are neighborhood hope dealers. Most people have no hope. Y'all remember in the Shawshank Redemption what he said, when people have no hope, right? What they do. And so that's why suicide's right at an all-time high, because I don't think tomorrow is going to be any better. I've lost hope. And when we're hopeless, we are in a bad state of mind. And so, but we're literally bringing hope to the hopelessness by talking about this opportunity. Now, the products are great. We're going to help you get out of debt. We're going to get you properly protected. We're going to show you how to do that. But that's a 30 or 40-year plan if everything goes right. That's if you don't have any hiccups with your job. That's if you don't have any this come up, that come up. So that's a 30 or 40-year game plan. But in the now, let's get this business going, right? So we
And
can
the value
have that hope.
and the value and the real value of you, the value that you bring to the game is the hope that you leave on the table.
Mhm.
That's the value. When you show up at the table and you place your chalice of hope on the table, that can be filled with whatever ingredients you want to fill it with. When you place that chalice of hope on the table and you leave it sitting there in the middle of the table for them to consume, you have consummated the value of you.
Right. That's exactly it. That's exactly it. And only we can do it. That's why I was going to have you talk about it, because it's where else they're going to get it from? Who else can deliver hope? Only, you know, what they say, hurt people, right? And so if we're the opposite of that, that's what we can leave at the table. Because they leave that meeting going, how many of y'all have done a meeting and you've dusted off their goals and dreams, and you can tell, you literally start seeing shackles kind of being broken and hope restored, right? Because they ain't nobody asked them what their goals and dreams are, your dream income, where you want to go, travel, all this kind of stuff. No, because nobody cares. So we'll end it. Last person, Miss Mary Watkins. What was your takeaways from today's training? I see you got
Coach Nick, oh my gosh, there's so many takeaways, but I'm gonna come from this from a personal standpoint, because I think all of us who aren't daily focused on building. As Coach says, we got the original in our every week. You know, we have him at our fingertips, and we still aren't doing it. I'm still not doing it. I'm gonna take personal responsibility for that. I'm still not doing it. You know what? It's like that quote that you had, make no small plan, for they have no power to stir the heart of men. Talking about that poster that you kind of had there. We can't be small. We cannot be small, because being small, you get there easy, or you don't do it at all, you know, and getting there big means that you got to have a team and an army around you. And Coach just blew it out the water. He does it every single week in terms of, we have a vineyard, and there's lots of seeds that we got to plant, and then we got to go back out to that vineyard and harvest those seeds. And I'm just gonna give you this. You know, I've been in a job for a long time, and I see it every single day. Every single day, somebody tells me, "Man, I wish I could just get paid and not have to come in to work. Man, I want to work from home. Man, I want to do this and do that." And I see so many people pass me, and I talk to some of those people, and some of them there's a light there, and some of them most of the time there's not, because they're just bots on a cog in a wheel. And I found myself being a bot. You know, Dan said that we have to make money, and I have been guilty of not doing that and being disciplined to do that and do daily things every single day. And I'm gonna tell y'all one thing, man, I'm just putting my business right out there. I found myself yesterday, we talk about being the go-to for our families. We got to be the go-to for us, because I have some health challenges that I need to have taken care of. And if I could write a check for it, like right now, if I could have it taken care of right now. And I can't do that right now. I cannot do that right now. And I played house with this. I haven't set up a home. I haven't made a marriage of Primerica. I haven't even dated it properly. So it don't like me right now. And I found myself yesterday, because I have some travel plans that I have coming up, some things with my daughter in Florida. Please forgive me, y'all. I'm about to just say it, just to say it, because this is where we're at. You're either playing the one game of being in a job in Primerica, or you building a business in Primerica. We're the employee in Primerica right now. That's where I am. I'm the employee. I'm not a business owner in Primerica. I found myself yesterday trying to look at the time that I could get off if I had enough vacation days to take for these things that I got to do coming up. And I stopped myself. I'm like, girl, what are you doing? Do you know what you have right here? Do you know what you have right here in front of you? You're a business owner. Stop ticking on it. You get 12 hours every 2 weeks. Stop. This is not your life. This is a tool. The tool I have is bigger than anything. And I found myself doing that yesterday. And Coach, I did not know you were going to ask me to speak today. Y'all quit playing. Let's stop playing. We are employees in Primerica. We are 100% off one in Primerica. I am 100% off one right now in Primerica. And if we are not out there trying to rescue people and talk about having a one off 100% life, we are not doing ourselves any justice, and the people either. That's all I got, Coach. That is all I got.
Wow, Mary, I appreciate your transparency. And Giovanna, what are some of the things that we could take away from today? What are some things that we can add from Miss Mary? And
Ooh.
because
So
you've been there.
oh yes,
We've all been there, obviously. But as a woman, you definitely can relate to what Miss Mary is saying. So so Mary, this message is for you. So Giovanna, close us out and give us a few minutes here, some marching orders.
So let me just say this. You know, I've definitely been there. I was recently there, Mary. And the reality is that if we don't get it right and shift our mindset, we're going to be there again. I've been through that cycle so many times in my career, and I'm recently coming out of it, because you'll be a slave to your job, aka an employee to your job, and a slave to this business. You got to work this business, right? So that it doesn't work you. This is a fight. Every single day we show up to fight. You got to be a fighter. The reality is if you get down and lay down, then life, adversities, your job, and even this business will trample all over you. A few weeks ago, Coach, for about a week straight, we talked about being fighters. That's what the A.L. Williams people are. That's what we are. We are true A.L. Williams crusaders on this call, because this is the builder's call, Mary. And it's not about having it right. It's about getting it right. And the reason why we repeat the lesson over and over and over again is because we have not yet passed the test. Study for the test. How do you study for the test in Primerica, right? You show up, and you show up with a high sense of expectations, right? You say that prayer that Coach say, God, today, I pray that I get it, right? And then you show up diligently. Like I tell y'all, from the time y'all heard my voice on this call, I said, man, don't show up just to check in. Show up to get something. Show up to get your glass full, to fill your cup up, because you never know. And see, Mary, your testimony is not going to go in vain. See, you're only, right now, it may feel like a hard thing because you're going through it, but you're only going through it for someone else, because you're going to lead a bunch of women who's going to be faced with a situation with their daughter and their job and having to take time off. And you're going to say, you know what? I can coach you through this because I've been through it. See, God puts us in, and we face adversity. It's not for us. When we're going through it, it feels like it's for us, but it's for hundreds and thousands of people that's going to come behind you, because you're going to build a team. You're going to build a hierarchy. You're going to lead other women who's going to have kids, who's going to have a job, and who played around with this thing like I did. I mean, right? Who played around with this thing like y'all, my 3-year-old is dropping a quarter. Okay, baby, right? Who played around?
Somebody was cash apping you. Like, this girl preach. Let me cash out this girl some money.
Money, okay, pass the collection plate. You better manifest it, Nick, right? But the only person I need cash app in me is Primerica, because they give the biggest deposits, right? But with that being said, baby, send that cash app to me every day. Do not reply. Earn statement, okay? Advances, bonuses. That's the only person I want cash app in me, okay? I need Primerica to be my sugar daddy, right? But that's my humor. That's my personality, y'all, right? So with that being said, man, you got to work the work, right? So that this business doesn't work you. Let me help you out. This is a monster of a business. And because it is a monster of a business, then you can become 1000% financially free here, and you can change the lives of thousands and millions of people that you probably won't ever even meet. You got to understand that in order to conquer a monster, guess what? You got to be a fighter. You got to be a fighter. You got to have faith. We are hope dealers. We don't look. Nobody asks us to show up here perfect. All of us come here raw material, imperfect, with flaws. It's like David and Goliath. This business is a giant. And in order for you to win this thing, man, you got to have faith. You have to have hope. This is a heart business. You got to lead this thing with your heart, not with your head. And see, once I got out of my head and I attached my heart to the mission, then everything else follows. Everything else follows. As a matter of fact, I have a raccoon appointment at 11:30. I said, because I don't miss Century Club, honey bun, right? So let me get a 30-minute window to cool off, because I never know when God got to use me. And then I could pour into that person, right? Because I don't care if it's Saturday. It's like Coach said, we want every day to be Friday evening. That's what we're fighting for, Mary. And you get to do this. I remember my testimony. I went live on Facebook. I remember crying crocodile tears, because Primerica changed my life. That was in the infant state. I was like a district or division leader. And it's our testimony that moves people. It's the experience. It's the adversity, because you get to do it and you get to go through it. You got to fight. You got to fight. You got to fight, man. Only ambitious people excel here. Fight. You got it in you. You got it in you. God called you to do it. He called Mary Watkins to come here and be great, just like he called Giovanna Hamilton and Nick and Stephanie Jackson and Ryan Logan and Carolyn Myers and Charles DeGrand, right? He called you by name. Everybody in ministry is not necessarily preaching in the church. Sometimes your ministry is right here. We are made for greatness, y'all. Let's go out there and make an impact, man, and change lives today. That's all I have.
Wow. Wow. Praise God. And it's been a great meeting today, y'all. And Coach set it up the right way. And we're approaching the second half of the month, y'all, the back end of this month. So y'all take some time today, meet with the teams, get a refocus on about what the mission is. I know I told our team yesterday, we need to be at 10 by Monday. We fell behind. We're supposed to be at 10 today, right? So we got to get these last couple of recruits in by Monday so we can get on track for our goal for the end of this month, which was 30, right? And so, and stuff like that. So anyway, y'all, let's have a great week. We're not going to be here next Saturday. We have the Texas convention. And so there'll be no Zoom at least on Saturday. So you might want to find a place to plug in and stuff like that. And we'll see everybody on Tuesday night. And then in 2 weeks from the deal, and y'all just be on the lookout. We're going to be doing I'm gonna send a text out for the spring spectacular, and so we can kind of talk about some ideas and get some feedback on that. But y'all be on the lookout for that. So anyway, thank y'all for everything, Giovanna, Rod, DP, Mr. Gunis, Miss Carolyn. Thank y'all so much for everything y'all do, blessing us every day. So y'all have a great weekend. God bless. Mary, I'm gonna touch base with you later on, all right?
Yep.
All right.
Thanks, guys.